to say something a lot of people don't seem to understand. See, the church could not believe for finance. So they came up with something called poverty to move people to give emotionally. And that's just simply the truth, ladies and gentlemen. What I mean by that is, if anybody believes in giving to missions, I do. Let me just cut to the chase. It's not being critical, it's being truthful. I've learned something about Jesus. I used to think you couldn't say nothing because you're not walking in love. And Jesus would tell his disciple, that guy's a snake, a hypocrite, and a viper. I said, now, Jesus, you're talking about the man, And in his face and behind his back, he said, it's not being critical, it's being truthful. So to begin to move people emotionally to give through poverty. They'll show you a baby, a child, bloated belly, okay? And not just going to touch your heart if you're any kind of a human being. But then all of a sudden, when will the baby be full?
Right.
Why don't you show me the baby after we've given? The baby is no longer bloated, but it's every year because you see it's financing poverty instead of eradicating it. See, and that's the problem. See, that's the problem with poverty. See, it's a curse. And every dime that you give, all the money Satan has is yours. Lock, stock, and barrel. You see, I mean, it's all ours. Because when God created this world, there were no sinners. I heard you say that, and I love that. So it was created for us. So I have been preaching 45 years, and I've never had a financial deficit. Not one time. And people say, how'd you do that? I was in a big old preacher conference and we were all sitting there and I want to know what's the biggest donations ever given to your ministry. I didn't say nothing. Finally, John Hagin was there. He said, and I love John. John's a blessing. He said, Jesse, what's the biggest donations I've ever given to you? I said, trust. Whoa. It's the biggest one, trust. Because you see, if you don't have trust, you have nothing. You see what I'm saying? If the people can't believe your word. That's why I love what Brother Copeland says. And I know for a fact, not by faith, his salary. I'm on that board of directors, and we vote on that. It's as pure can be, spiritually, physically, financially, sexually, in every area. So what Satan did, I honestly believe this, that the reason why Jesus hadn't come is because people are not giving the way God told them to give.
Of a church led by a popular televangelist are under close scrutiny this morning. It comes as Pastor Creflo Dollar asks his followers to buy him a $65 million private jet. Mark Strassman is outside the World Changers Church International in College Park, Georgia. Mark, good morning.
Good morning. This church behind me is like any house of worship. It is nonprofit and tax exempt, but it is also highly controversial, most recently when the pastor asked the faithful to help him travel the world in style.
Dream for the best house. Dream for the best car.
He's a pastor named Dollar who preaches the prosperity gospel. The more you give, the more you shall receive.
Just because the world don't have it, don't mean you can't have it.
Creflo Dollar's sermons pack his 8,500-seat megachurch. His ministry has prospered with satellite churches in at least a dozen states and hundreds of thousands of online followers.
I am the resurrection.
Dollar owns this multi-million-dollar mansion and condo. In March, his website asked the faithful to help him buy something else.
To give contributions of $300 or more.
A $65 million Gulfstream G650 jet, the top of the line in luxury air travel. One church member, Mary Jones, plans on answering the pastor's call, even though she rides the bus 20 miles every Sunday to Dollar's church.
We support our pastor. That's what we're here for. The work that he do and where the Lord have him traveling, he doesn't need a cheap airplane. He needs the best.
But Dollar...
Back during the days that we couldn't do anything else, we had to travel commercial. When I went to Oral Roberts University, I flew for Oral Roberts. I'm a commercial pilot. So I spent a lot of time in airplanes.
You have how many planes?
We have the Gulfstream, and we still have our Citation 10. And then we have a little small airplane. But both those are the two ones that we use, and we use them all the time. And other people use them too. We have other ministries that use these. In the book of Ephesians, oh God, I love this. We wrestle not with people, but with principalities and powers, unseen things, rulers of the darkness of this world. Talking about the devil, he's a very real devil, just the same as Jesus is a very real Lord. With people, but with principalities and powers, unseen things, rulers of the darkness of this world. Talking about the devil. He's a very real devil, just the same as Jesus is a very real Lord. And I spent a lot of time on airlines. But the main thing that happened was not, that wasn't the main reason. The main reason was I could no longer do what I called to do and be on the airlines. Besides that, I need my clothes when I get there. And so
I got the spirit. I feel like healing. Yes, and
a candidate right here, Reverend, sitting right in front of us. Come on up here, son.
What is your affliction, brother?
I can't move my leg.
You can't move your leg. Well, let me get the spirit. Let me put my hand on it. I think I feel it. Oh, here it is. This is what's been holding you down. This wall has been holding you back, brother. You are healed. Get on out of here. Oh.
Praise the Lord. The spirit has been lifted.
So I'm turning it into a pineapple juice.
Pineapple juice.
I'm turning it into pineapple juice.
Pineapple juice.
The word is upon it.
There's a lot of fumes, but I don't have any side effect.
Oh, you want to drink pineapple juice? Okay. Wait, nice. It's finished.
Shamalani. Jesus. Mama, me do baji award with Jesus. 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 Jesus.
Jesus is still in the healing business. There's 1, 2, 3.
Nobody gets the faithful out of their wheelchairs these days any faster than Benny Hinn. And when Pastor Benny comes to town, no civic center is big enough.
Healed her.
Healed her of what, Pastor?
Polio.
This woman who said she had polio and would never walk again, she and her friends say she just climbed out of her wheelchair and walked?
It's a miracle. It's unbelievable.
Pastor Benny knows it's great TV, but does he care if these healings are genuine? Anybody could make up anything.
Someday somebody's going to do that. And what are you going to say then? I don't know. I can't tell you now. It hasn't happened yet.
Oh, yes, it has. Remember that woman supposedly cured of polio? Pastor Benny knows it made for a great episode of his TV show. He knows it probably helped squeeze even bigger donations from his flock. But there's something he doesn't know.
That woman works for us. Woman doesn't have polio, never did. Then why did she say she?
We put her up there to see if he could tell her story was not true, to see if it would matter, to see if he would ever check. So, Benny, is it faith or is it fraud?
I'm still a human being like you. Made many mistakes, big ones, and will still make mistakes.
Hello, sit right there. Welcome to my world, where it's naturally supernatural. I have read of the great men and women of faith. One in particular intrigues me so much. His name, Smith Wigglesworth. He had some of the most outrageous miracles I ever heard of in my life. Let me give you one example. Some parents had a 2-month-old baby dying in the hospital. The parents kidnapped the child, took the child to a Smith Wigglesworth meeting, and Smith looks at the child, looks at the parents and say, "Can I do what God tells me to do?" Well, what would you do if you were the parents? The child's dying anyway, right? He takes the baby, 2-month-old, throws the baby against the wall. The baby. Then the baby's on the floor. Have you ever seen someone play soccer? Have you ever seen them kick a soccer ball? He does that with the baby. The baby falls into the congregation. No crying. Is it dead? 100% healed. No crying.
Don't earn a dime. How do you explain your extravagant lifestyle?
Extravagant? You call this Rolex extravagant? This is the bottom of the line. No, you got it all wrong. See, what I do is operate a trust fund for the Lord. That's right, for the big guy. See, he's the one with all the money. That's right, he tell me what to do with it. If it was me, I'd invest it. There's a couple of junk bonds I got my eye on, but what can I tell the Lord? If the Lord want to buy a big hat with a feather in it, what am I supposed to say? No, Lord, you can't have it. The Lord seen Sheriff.
Stick it in and call it macaroni. That's what I'd say.
And if he want a house, 300 square feet, what am I going to say? No, Lord, you can't have it on your earth?
The Lord uses that jacuzzi in mysterious ways.